Everyone. Today we're going to take a journey together into the deep world of the Diamond Sutra. The Diamond Sutra is short for Diamond Perfection of Wisdom Sutra, and it's a text that contains sharp wisdom like a diamond that can break through all attachments. If the Heart Sutra is the compressed essence of enlightenment, then the Diamond Sutra is like a compass that shows us the specific process and methods for reaching that enlightenment. What makes the Diamond Sutra special for us living in modern times is that this text shows us the path from ordinary, everyday moments to ultimate awakening. Today, as our first story, we'll take a deep look at how enlightenment begins through Buddha's daily life and Elder Subhuti's questions. This sutra started about 2,500 years ago in India and has traveled through China, Korea, and Japan, bringing comfort and enlightenment to countless people up to today. Especially in Zen Buddhism, people discover the possibility of sudden enlightenment through this text, and it's said that the sixth patriarch, Huineng, achieved great awakening after hearing just one passage from this sutra. The stories we'll share today aren't just knowledge. This is practical wisdom that can fundamentally change your life. Please open your hearts and join us. Chapter 1, The Assembly Gathers. The sutra begins like this. Thus have I heard. At one time, the Buddha was staying at Anathapindika's garden in Jeta Grove near Shravasti, together with a great gathering of 1,250 monks. To put this simply, this means it's a story that Ananda heard directly. Among Buddha's disciples, Ananda had the best memory, and he remembered every single word Buddha said without missing anything, then later shared these stories with other disciples. The place called Anathapindika's garden in Jeta Grove, near Shravasti, was a real historical location. It was a garden near Shravasti, the capital of Kosala Kingdom, which was in what's now northern Uttar Pradesh, India. This place got its name because a wealthy merchant called Anathapindika bought it by covering the ground with gold coins and then offered it to Buddha. The number 1,250 also has deep meaning to think about. This isn't just a random number. It represents completeness. In Buddhism, the number 1,250 represents the perfect monastic community where Buddha's first disciples and main disciples all gathered together. But if we look deeper into this passage, there's a profound meaning about the community of enlightenment hidden here. It shows that enlightenment isn't a lonely journey you take by yourself, but something that happens within a community of people walking together. Buddha didn't keep enlightenment all to himself. He was there with disciples who wanted to share that wisdom. Western philosopher Martin Buber talked about relationship philosophy through I and thou, saying humans grow when real encounters happen. He believed humans can't become complete by themselves. They can only discover their existence through genuine meetings with others. The beginning of the Diamond Sutra is the same way. The conversation about enlightenment begins in the meeting between Buddha and his disciples, in the relationship between teacher and students. German philosopher Gadamer talked about fusion of horizons, saying true understanding happens when different perspectives meet. Where Buddha's horizon of enlightenment meets the disciples' horizon of seeking, new awakening is born. Modern existentialist philosophers also say humans can only discover themselves within relationships. Sartre said we discover ourselves through the gaze of others, and Levinas believed true ethics begins when we face the face of the other. Modern psychology has also proven the effectiveness of relationship-centered therapy and group therapy. Problems that couldn't be solved alone gain new perspectives through meeting and talking with others, eventually leading to healing and growth. You're not alone either. Even right now, countless people are having the same worries and walking the same path. Sometimes you might feel lonely in the world, but just like Buddha sat together with 1,250 disciples, there are definitely people around you who can grow together with you. Enlightenment isn't something you keep to yourself. It's a gift you share, sharing what you've learned with others, and learning from others' experiences. That's the way to create a true community of enlightenment. Sometimes being the teacher, sometimes being the student, helping each other, that's the ideal community Buddha showed us. Chapter 2, The Good Man Rises. Next, the sutra says, "At that time, when it was mealtime, the Buddha put on his robe, took his bowl, and went into the great city of Shravasti to beg for food. He begged for food in order through the city, then returned to his place, finished eating, put away his robe and bowl, washed his feet, and sat down." To put this simply, Buddha lived an ordinary daily life just like us. In the morning, he got up, put on his monk's robe, took his food bowl, and went out to get food. At that time, monks in India didn't have jobs and lived by begging for food. They went around villages and lived on whatever food people gave them. The part that says he begged for food in order through the city has especially deep meaning. Buddha didn't just go to rich houses, he went to every house in order. Whether it was a poor house or a rich house, he didn't discriminate. This shows Buddha's equal compassion. When he came back, he ate his meal, put away his robe and bowl, washed his feet, and then sat down. This whole process is so ordinary and everyday. Even the great Buddha, who would save the world, ate meals just like us, cleaned up, and took care of personal hygiene. Here's a deep meaning we might easily miss. Enlightenment isn't in some special place separate from daily life. It's hidden right in these ordinary moments. Every action Buddha took, begging for food, cleaning his bowl, washing his feet, was itself a perfect expression of enlightenment. In Zen Buddhism, this is called ordinary mind is the way. It means an ordinary mind is already the way. When someone asked Master Joshu, "What is Buddha?" he answered, "Go drink some tea." Master Yunmen said, "Every day is a good day." And Master Linji said, "When eating, just eat. When sleeping, just sleep." That's the way. We can find similar insights in Western philosophy too. Heidegger said we need to discover the meaning of existence in everydayness. He believed true existence becomes possible when humans understand their being in ordinary daily life, not in special moments. Wittgenstein saw ordinary language as the starting point of philosophy. Rather than complex metaphysical theories, true wisdom is hidden in the ordinary language we use every day. French philosopher Michel de Certeau saw deep meaning and power of resistance in ordinary people's small actions in the practice of everyday life. Everyday actions like walking, cooking, and reading are all creative practices. Modern mindfulness meditation is in the same context. Jon Kabat-Zinn taught that we can discover awakeness in every daily moment. Doing dishes, walking, breathing. Thich Nhat Hanh also emphasized the importance of daily practice, saying doing laundry is enlightenment itself. Psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi's flow theory is similar. We experience the greatest happiness and sense of achievement not in special situations, but when we're completely absorbed in daily activities. Look at your day once more. Every moment from waking up in the morning, washing your face, eating, working, and resting is actually an opportunity for enlightenment. Free yourself from the pressure that you need to do something special. The work you're doing right now, the thoughts you're having, the breath you're taking, that's the scene of enlightenment right there. Just as Buddha simply ate his meal and washed his feet. Infinite possibilities for enlightenment are hidden in your ordinary daily life too. When you're doing dishes, focus on doing dishes. When you're walking, focus on walking. When you're talking with people, fully participate in that conversation. In that, you'll discover the same kind of awakeness that Buddha experienced. Chapter 3, the great Bodhisattva appears. Next, the sutra says, "At that time, Elder Subhuti rose from among the assembly, bared his right shoulder, placed his right knee on the ground, joined his palms together, and respectfully addressed the Buddha." To explain this scene, one of Buddha's disciples, Elder Subhuti, is preparing to ask Buddha a question with proper respect. Baring the right shoulder and kneeling was the highest form of respect in India at that time. Elder Subhuti was one of Buddha's 10 great disciples, called foremost in understanding emptiness. This means he was the disciple who best understood the principle of emptiness. That such a person showed such respectful manners teaches us what true humility is. What's more important here is Elder Subhuti's attitude. He was already an arhat who had achieved enlightenment, but he still didn't lose his learning attitude. Even though he had already realized many things, he still sought deeper teachings. This is the true attitude of a seeker. Confucius said, "When 3 people walk together, there must be one who can be my teacher." This emphasizes the humble attitude that no matter how excellent a person is, there's always something to learn from others. Socrates' knowledge of ignorance is exactly this attitude. His famous saying, "I know that I know nothing," means a truly wise person is someone who knows how little they know. It's the paradoxical wisdom that the more knowledge you have, the more humble you should become. Laozi also said in the Tao Te Ching, "Those who know don't speak. Those who speak don't know." True wisdom doesn't try to show itself off. Modern psychology calls this a, quote, growth mindset. According to research by Stanford's Carol Dweck, people who believe their abilities can develop through effort achieve more than those who think their abilities are fixed. There's also a concept called intellectual humility. This is the attitude of acknowledging that your knowledge and judgments might have errors. And research shows people like this make more accurate judgments and learn better. In education, the importance of metacognition is also emphasized. Knowing what you know and what you don't know, knowing about knowing, is the true starting point of learning. What can we learn from Elder Subhuti's humble attitude? As we get older and gain more experience, we easily fall into thinking we know a lot. But true wisdom is actually the opposite. The more you know, the more you realize how much you don't know. You too should have a humble heart like Elder Subhuti. Whether you're old or young, experienced or inexperienced, high-positioned or low-positioned, Always keep an open mind that there's something to learn. The moment you think you already know everything, growth stops. Especially when listening to others' opinions, instead of the attitude, "I already know that," try having curiosity like, "Is there a new perspective here?" You might even be able to learn from people younger or less experienced than you. Start each day with the joyful heart that there's something new to learn today. That humility is the true beginning of wisdom. Please keep that beautiful, humble attitude that Elder Subhuti showed before Buddha in your heart. #, Chapter 4, Wonderful Practice Has No Dwelling. Elder Subhuti says, "Rare and wonderful, world-honored one." The Tathagata protects and cares for all bodhisattvas well, and entrusts them well. World-honored one, when good men and good women want to develop the mind of supreme perfect enlightenment, how should they dwell, and how should they subdue their minds? To translate this question in modern terms, Buddha, you are truly an amazing person. You take good care of all practitioners and guide them on the right path. But Buddha, when people want to achieve true enlightenment, what kind of attitude should they have, and how should they control their minds? This is the eternal question of all seekers. They have the mind that seeks enlightenment, but they don't know specifically what to do. It's a practical question about what kind of mind to practice with, and how to handle arising worries and desires. The two concepts of dwelling and subduing are key here. Dwelling means attachment, a state where the mind sticks to something and won't let go. Subduing means taming your desires and worries. In other words, they're asking how to not be attached to anything while at the same time managing your mind well. This is a very delicate question. If you're too loose, you might fall into indulgence, and if you're too strict, you might fall into suppression and obsession. How do you find that exquisite balance point? The core Buddhist philosophy of the Middle Way is contained here. Before Buddha achieved enlightenment, he practiced extreme austerities for 6 years, but didn't achieve enlightenment. Only after he took proper care of his body while practicing did he achieve enlightenment. Not too loose and not too tight. Maintaining proper tension like a guitar string is the middle way. In Western philosophy, this is similar to Aristotle's concept of the golden mean. Wisdom is avoiding extremes and finding the proper balance point. Even the virtue of courage exists at the middle point between recklessness and cowardice. Modern dialectical behavior therapy takes a similar approach. It's about balancing acceptance and change, accepting the current situation while also pursuing necessary changes. This therapy method, developed by Marsha Linehan, has proven very effective for people with emotional regulation disorders. Cognitive behavioral therapy also emphasizes balanced thinking, developing realistic yet constructive thinking that's neither too negative nor too positive. Mindfulness meditation also emphasizes non-judgmental observation, neither suppressing your thoughts and emotions nor being swept away by them, but watching them as they are. Elder Subhuti's question is also a very urgent problem for us living in modern times. How can we have the desire to achieve without being attached to results? How can we love without falling into possessiveness? How can we do our best without getting stressed? You've probably had these kinds of worries too. You want to become a better person and find peace of mind, but it's overwhelming not knowing specifically what to do. If you're too strict with yourself, you get tired, and if you're too loose, there's no progress. It's the same with work. How can you simultaneously have the mind to do your best and the mind not to worry about results? It's the same with loving someone. How can you love sincerely while not constraining the other person? Elder Subhuti's question is your question too. Don't be impatient trying to find the perfect answer. It's okay not to be perfect. What's important is the mind that keeps questioning and keeps trying to learn. That sincere seeking mind itself is already the first step toward enlightenment. Chapter 5, How to Subdue the Mind. Buddha answers Subhuti's question like this. Excellent, excellent Subhuti. The Tathagata protects and cares for all bodhisattvas and entrusts them well, just as you said. Now listen carefully. Good men and good women who have developed the mind of supreme perfect enlightenment should dwell like this and subdue their minds like this. To explain this answer, Buddha greatly praised Subhuti's question, saying, Good, good, you asked well, I'll explain it in detail. And he's saying, people who seek enlightenment should control their minds like this. What we should notice here is that Buddha highly values the question itself. The expression excellent, excellent isn't just simple praise. This is an acknowledgement that Subhuti's question hits exactly the core. A good question already contains half the answer. Education also emphasizes the importance of questions. Socrates helped his students find answers themselves through dialogue. He called himself a midwife of the mind, meaning he played the role of drawing out the truth that was already in students' minds. Modern constructivist education also values learners' active questioning. Deeper learning happens when you question and explore yourself, rather than just passively receiving knowledge. Psychologist Piaget presented the concept of cognitive conflict. New learning happens when you face situations that can't be explained by existing cognitive structures. Subhuti's question also came from exactly this kind of cognitive conflict. Also, Buddha's request to listen carefully doesn't mean just hearing with your ears, but taking it to heart. The original Sanskrit word is shrunu, which means to listen with your whole being. True listening is a whole person experience. This connects to active listening in modern counseling psychology. This technique, developed by Carl Rogers, isn't just hearing words, but trying to understand the other person's heart. It requires 3 conditions: empathetic understanding, unconditional positive regard, and genuineness. The Buddhist hearing, thinking, practicing is the same. You have to go through 3 stages: hearing, thinking deeply, and practicing to reach true enlightenment. Hearing is just the beginning. You have to think deeply about it and put it into practice to make it your own. Modern neuroscience research has also made interesting discoveries. Simply receiving information and actively listening have completely different brain activation patterns. When actively listening, multiple areas of the brain are activated simultaneously, enabling deeper understanding and memory. You too should become someone who asks good questions. When you have vague anxiety or worries, try changing them into specific questions. Instead of, "Why am I unhappy?" ask, "What do I truly want? And what's stopping me now?" Instead of, "Why do I always fail?" ask specifically, "What parts am I struggling with? And what do I need to improve that?" Good questions are already the first step toward solutions. And when listening to others, try to hear not just their surface words, but their hearts too. Try to understand what the person really wants to say and what emotions they're feeling. True communication starts that way. Good questions and deep listening. This is the surest way to grow wisdom. Just as Buddha was pleased with Subhuti's question, your sincere questions will surely lead to good answers too. Chapter 6. Saving countless beings, yet no beings are saved. Now Buddha starts his main teaching. Subhuti, all bodhisattva mahasattvas should subdue their minds like this. Of all the different types of beings, those born from eggs, those born from wombs, those born from moisture, those born from transformation, those with form, those without form, those with thought, those without thought, those neither with thought nor without thought. I will lead them all to liberation through nirvana without remainder. But even though I liberate countless, boundless beings like this, in reality, not even one being is liberated. To explain this passage simply, Subhuti, people seeking enlightenment should control their minds like this. All beings in the world, things born from eggs, things born from wombs, things born from moisture, things born from transformation, things with form, things without form, things with thoughts, things without thoughts. You should vow to lead all these beings to complete liberation. But at the same time, you should know that in reality there's no being to be saved and no self doing the saving. This is the core paradox of the Diamond Sutra. You should develop infinite compassion, vowing to save all beings, while simultaneously having the wisdom of emptiness, knowing that neither the saver nor the saved exist as real entities. Here, egg-born, womb-born, moisture-born, transformation-born are the four types of birth that Buddhism talks about. Egg-born means things born from eggs. Womb-born means things that grow in the womb and are born. Moisture-born means things that arise from moisture or warmth. And transformation-born means things that suddenly appear through change. This is an expression that encompasses all life forms in the universe. With form without form means things with and without shape. With thought without thought means things with and without consciousness. And neither with thought nor without thought means things that neither have consciousness nor lack it. This, too, is an expression that includes everything that exists. The Bodhisattva spirit of Mahayana Buddhism is perfectly expressed here. You need both the vow to not seek only your own liberation, but to achieve enlightenment together with all beings, and the wisdom to not be attached even to that vow. This is a very high level of spirituality. Ordinary people either think only of their own interests, or they help others but become attached to the results. But a bodhisattva makes infinite vows to save all beings while simultaneously knowing that salvation itself is an illusion. In Western philosophy, there are similar aspects to Kant's moral philosophy. Kant said moral action should come from duty, but at the same time you shouldn't be attached to the results. This connects with the teaching of the Bhagavad Gita. Do your duty and let what will happen happen. It also connects to the modern psychology concept of decentering, developing the ability to step back and observe without completely identifying with your thoughts or emotions. A CT, acceptance and commitment therapy, calls this cognitive diffusion. From a systems theory perspective, true help is possible when you respect the other person's autonomy. Rather than trying to change the other person according to your intentions, True help is creating an environment where they can grow on their own. What's the practical meaning of this teaching? In daily life, we often have the experience of trying to help others with good intentions, but actually making relationships worse. Sometimes we think we're doing something for the other person, but they don't see it that way. This usually happens because we're attached to results. We expect the other person to change the way we want, and when they don't, we get disappointed or angry. But true help is help that doesn't violate the other person's freedom. It's the same when parents educate their children. Do your best for your child's future, but don't be attached to the idea that your child must live exactly according to your expectations. True love is love that doesn't try to possess the other person. It's the same at work. Work hard and cooperate with colleagues, but don't be attached to the idea that the results you want must come out. You need the ease of doing your best but letting go of the results. You too can practice this paradoxical wisdom. Try to sincerely help your family and friends, but don't be attached to the idea that they must change according to your expectations. Helping with all your heart, but letting go of the results. Loving, but not possessing. This is the practice of true compassion. Don't be hurt if the other person doesn't accept your help. The help itself should be the purpose, not the other person's change. Live with the heart of someone planting seeds. You don't know when they'll sprout or bear fruit, but planting good seeds is meaningful in itself. It's the same in daily life. Work hard, but don't get obsessed with performance alone. Cherish relationships, but don't depend on others. Move toward your goals, but have the ease of knowing that goal isn't everything. This is life without attachment, free life. # closing today. Today we deeply explored how the journey of enlightenment begins through the first part of the Diamond Sutra, starting from ordinary daily life, beginning to learn through humble questions, and developing infinite compassion for all beings while simultaneously cultivating wisdom without attachment. This is the path of enlightenment that the Diamond Sutra presents. From Buddha's ordinary actions of begging for food and cleaning his bowl, we learned that daily life itself is the scene of enlightenment. From Elder Subhuti's humble attitude, we learned the true attitude of learning. And from the paradoxical wisdom of saving all beings while knowing there are no beings to be saved and no self doing the saving, we learned how to practice compassion without attachment. I hope all these teachings don't just remain as head knowledge. From tomorrow, look at your daily life differently. Discover the seeds of enlightenment in ordinary moments, always maintain a learning attitude, and practice truly loving others without being attached. Whether washing dishes, walking to work, or talking with colleagues, all those moments can become times to practice enlightenment. Just as Buddha showed us, ordinary daily life itself is the most precious training ground. And when someone asks you questions, listen humbly like Elder Subhuti. On the flip side, when you're the one asking questions, ask with a sincere heart. Good questions and deep listening will open the door to wisdom. Finally, when helping others, don't be attached to results. Do your best, but respect the other person's freedom. Love, but don't try to possess. Develop this kind of heart. That's the first wisdom the Diamond Sutra teaches us. Next time, we'll explore the deeper teachings of the Diamond Sutra together, especially profound insights about giving and impermanence. Thank you sincerely for sharing this precious time with me today. I pray that the wisdom of the Diamond Sutra becomes a lamp that illuminates your daily life.